Hi folks, Joe here. Today I will be talking about compressors. I will show you the basics and give you some concrete examples of how I may use one. Let's start with what a compressor actually does. It is one of the tools you can use to control the dynamic range of the signal. Dynamic range is the distance between the lowest and highest peaks in audio. The most common type of compressor is the downwards compressor. This compresses dynamics and pushes the highest peaks closer to the lowest peaks. Then you can use the output gain knob to bring the overall volume back again. The higher sudden peaks in the audio are called transients. Transients play an important role in how compressors work and how our ears process groove and movement. Let's first look at one of my favorite free compressors, MCompressor from the Melda Free FX bundle. This is a digital compressor, meaning that it doesn't try to emulate any hardware compressor module, but rather compresses the audio signal according to the curve you can see in the visual feedback. We will monitor the output waveform with SM Exoscope, a free scope plugin, so that we can see exactly what the compressor does to the signal. You will find a link to both plugins in the description below. Most compressors have a range of options you can set. Let's go from left to right in MCompressor. First, we have input. This adjusts the overall volume of the signal before it hits the compressor. Output gain is the overall volume of your signal after it has been affected by the compressor. Then we have attack, which controls how long it takes for the compressor to reach full attenuation after it is activated. Lower values mean the compressor activates faster. Higher values mean your compressor activates slower. Release means how long your compressor stays activated. Lower values means your release is faster. Higher values mean your release is slower. Threshold is the level that the input signal must reach for the compressor to activate. If the threshold is set higher than your highest peak, the compressor will not activate. However, if it is set too low, the compressor will remain activated as the input signal always crosses the threshold. Ratio indicates how hard a signal is going to get attenuated after the threshold. You also have options to set a knee to your compressor. Most compressors offer a hard and a soft knee option. However, in MCompressor, a linear knee can also be selected. A hard knee means that the signal must reach the threshold for the compressor to activate. With a linear knee, the threshold is a center point, and there are two different points where the signal is attenuated when it crosses them. Therefore, the attenuation is gradual. With a soft knee, the threshold follows a curve, and the signal eases into the compressor. The knee size can also be adjusted, which means that at low values, the activation of the compressor is more sudden, whereas at high values, the signal eases into the compressor more gradually. In MCompressor and certain other compressors, you also have the option to set what is called RMS. RMS means root mean square, which is a mathematical formula used to determine the average of a signal. If it is turned off, your compressor will activate exactly when the signal hits the threshold, whereas if you set it for a certain time, that time will be used to calculate an average window over which your compressor will activate. Activating RMS can result in a more subtle type of compression, whereas turning it off can help you control your transients. You also have the options to either link channels, which means that both the left and right channels are attenuated by the same amount, or to turn this off, which means that the left and right channels are attenuated individually. You can also maximize your output to 0 dB in MCompressor, or set a custom shape for your compressor. Enabling the sidechain allows you to route a different track to your compressor, which will be a sidechain signal used to attenuate your main signal. A common practice in EDM is to sidechain your kick to instruments, mostly the bass, to get a classic pumping effect. Now let's see some examples of how you can use your compressor. First, we have a stereo guitar track. This is a dynamic instrument, so we need to tame the waveform. We will need a soft knee compressor with a moderate knee size. We can try out different ratios and see what suits our track the most. Setting this to high and our guitars get too crushed. I prefer my attack to be moderately slow and my release to be fast to moderate. As this is a stereo signal, I can also choose to unlink the stereo channels, which may help in widening the image. In this case, I could also use the RMS option, but it is a matter of preference if you like the sound with it or without it. If I want to check whether the compressor really helps, I may want to set the input gain and the output gain. Then, I can A/B using the bypass button. Let's see a different use case. I have a bass guitar track that is quite dense. I want to enhance this groove and transients. I will leave my compressor on a hard knee and set the attack at a moderate setting. The release is also faster. I then carefully tune in the threshold so the transients hit it consistently. I may need to adjust the output gain slightly. RMS is turned off as I need to enhance the groove and not to adjust the average of the signal. Now you can feel the effects when I A/B with bypass. That's all for today. Next time, I will be talking about the different types of compressors mostly those that you can find in the analog domain, and we'll show some digital emulations of these as well. Thank you for watching, and if you liked my video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. See you all next time!